Welcome to Volvo Ocean Race headquarters. You join us on leg 2. And the big story is, turn the tide on plastic with Di Cafari as skipper. They have elected to use their stealth mode. The last position update that any of the competitors received about turn the tide on plastic was at 1900 UTC yesterday. And now they've gone dark. It will be 1900 UTC today before they get an update. So for 24 hours, they've gone undercover. What does that mean for the race? Well, let's have a look at the virtual eye to see what's been happening out on the water. Well, it's a battle south in some incredible breeze right now. Everybody making their way towards the equator. Turn the tide on plastic after going dark. That's the last number that we'll see from them. Their number now doesn't change as a group of 4 start to push to the front. Dongfeng doing well. Mafre, Vestas 11th Hour Racing and Axel Nobel also in the hunt, with Team Brunel and Sun Hunkai Scallywag needing to make up the ground. Well, a little bit tough now as the options and the lanes start to close down. The nearest boat to turn the tide on plastic when they went black was Sun Hunkai Scallywag. Is this going to affect how Sun Hunkai Scallywag sails? Well, that was the question that I put to David Witt just a moment ago.
We basically know where she is. The only difference really is we don't know how much breeze or more or less she's got, but we suspect she's actually got less because I think the guys in front are getting into the new pressure early. So, I mean, it's an interesting part of the race to be able to go stealth. I'm not sure I would have done it at this stage. So it'll be interesting to see where she is in a couple of skids' time. At the moment, we're doing 18 knots of boat speed there, if you can see it. So there's no way she's going to be going any quicker than that. But time will tell. We're all sort of, on the train, just trying to get to the doldrums. And that's going to be, basically, there's no passing lanes until we get to the doldrums now, really.
So pretty much it's just a case of pushing hard. And who have you got on deck to take care of that right now?
So on deck we've got Paco on the wheel, where he tends to live if he's not sleeping. We've got Alex Goff trimming the main suit. Nipper sitting there looking like he's losing weight, not doing a hell of a lot.
You're in the Volvo Ocean Race. How has it matched up to your expectations?
The thing that still sort of blows me away is how close it is, I mean, we're 4 days in. Basically, I think the whole fleet's going to go into the doldrums, maximum of 50 miles apart, from Dongfeng back to D. So, you and I have both seen boats lose anywhere from 50 to 300 miles in the doldrums. So, it's certainly a long, long way from over. I don't think any leg's really going to be finished till the, as the fat lady sings, as they say.
I'm just wondering, is there anything that you want to say directly to the people wishing you well from Hong Kong?
Yeah, to all the people supporting us, just keep the faith. We're learning every day. We lost miles in the first part because of basically we had to sail the boat in those conditions against the fleet. So the longer we go, the better we're going to get. So keep the faith. Keep your eye on the scallywags.
So Sun Hunkai Scallywag still struggling to find the form that they desperately need in this Volvo Ocean Race to a boat that's actually starting to perform a little bit better. Team Brunel struggled on the first leg, but now in leg 2 they're performing well. And Abby Ehler joined us here. There's obviously something going very well on your boat right now. You're sailing fast, you're in breeze. You seem like you're making some good decisions.
Yes and no. I mean, I think in the beginning we'd always wanted to be the most west boat, and it didn't quite work out that way. The rest of the fleet sort of took a shift and jibed further out from us. So position-wise, it didn't quite go how it didn't. Yeah, it hasn't played out quite how Andrew Cape, our navigator, had wanted. But we're feeling strong now. We can see the boats. We've got 3 boats ahead of us on the horizon, and we saw them last night. We're expecting that they got this breeze before us, so they've probably extended a couple of miles just in the last sked. But equally, we're expecting, maybe over the course of the next 48 hours and beyond, the breeze will start to die, and then we'll see the fleet compress. So there's a long way to go yet.
I feel so bad doing this interview with you and depriving your body of oxygen because you're working incredibly hard out there. Can you just talk us through what it is you're doing on deck right now?
Yeah, so we're hard reaching. So basically, with the breeze being quite puffy, we're playing the main a lot. So I'm winding the main on this pedestal. trimming for Albie. Carlo's on the Traveller. So yeah, we're just working the main through the puffs, trying to keep the boat at an even level of heel, and yeah, nice fast sailing.
Who's behind you? Who's the hooded figure on the wheel?
The hooded figure. Have a guess.
Is that Peter Burling? Is it hiding away out there? Who the hell's that?
That is Peter. That is Peter. Peter on the helm and Albie on the main. I think it's the new fashion, obviously.
And so far on this leg, I mean, it's shaping up to be a very different leg for you than the first leg. A big change in performance. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I think first leg we would have liked to have put our performance or poor performance down to one thing. You know, we were all kind of hoping that we had a big octopus stuck on the bottom of our keel or something. But unfortunately not. And I think what we took away from that leg was there was just a lot of small items that have rolled up to become a much greater impact on performance. And whether that was sort of, you know, a bit of damage to the rudders, the way we set up our trim, our modes, the way we drive the boat. So yeah, we took away a lot of learning and sort of hitting leg 2 with a different approach. Feel confident in the boat, and it's just about getting our modes right and being proactive.
Well, you guys are in the mix. What's coming up in this race?
Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, it's always hard being behind, but I mean, the only good thing we know is that we're going to hit the doldrums. The fleet's going to compress. We're within sight of 3 or 4 boats, so it's still all to play for. And I guess it's just who gets through the doldrums, in best shape. And it's almost a new race from there onwards. So we're feeling happy and looking forward to what's ahead.
Abby, thank you so much. We can see you've got a lot on. I'll let you get back to working the boat. Good luck.
Okay.
Well, that was the info from the crew on board, but we can go for a little bit of a better insight from one of the reserve sailors from the last edition. Timo Hagout was with Team Brunel and Bauer Becking last time around as a reserve sailor, did the leg from Newport to Lisbon, but also he was on board with the team this time around in Lisbon for the import race as a guest. So who better to ask exactly how this boat is performing and what his take is as seeing Team Brunel just 20 miles behind.
20 miles is nothing, and especially when you have the doldrums coming. 20 miles can be the same as getting stuck under a cloud at night and just being punched out, just being behind. So 20 miles is nothing if you look at the length of the leg, and especially since we're before the doldrums. So anything can happen at this stage. So I wouldn't write them off already.
No, for sure. I mean, from what we're seeing, they're on the coattails of that front pack. I mean, what do you feel like the vibe was on board when you stepped on board the boat?
Oh, very good, very good. It was all smiles. Obviously, they had a bit of work to do after that first leg, and the shore crew gave everything to just do the fine tuning on the foils, for example. They had a lot of issues with things getting stuck on the rudders and on the keel. They fixed all that, and they managed to win that very difficult import race. So I think it's very good to go into the second leg with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, well, that was going to be my next question, because Bauer Becking, as the skipper, you've sailed underneath him. He seems pretty good at sort of bringing back the team from a weak performance on the first leg. What do you think he's like, as a skipper?
Well, I know for a fact that he sets very, very high standards, not only for himself but also from the team members. And I think for this edition, he's selected a very good mix of young, really ambitious guys that are making the step into ocean racing for the first time, and he's got some experience with him too. Guys like Chicho, we've got Bolzan from Alvi Medica, and of course KP. So he's got a good mix of fresh young guys and some experience in there too.
Well, considering that and mixing them with the rest of the fleet, I know you're going to give us your, the supporters' answer, but as an experienced offshore sailor yourself, where do you place them in the pecking order in this competition?
Well, I think they're definitely in for a podium finish. I think what we can see, there's a lot of strong teams out there. And I think most importantly, it is in this race to have the navigator calling the shots. and to have fast drivers to make sure that they sending the boat as fast as possible on every angle that the navigator has told them to do. So I think that's going to be crucial in this race, just like the last. And there's a couple of teams out there that could be very, very competitive. So that's already what we're seeing now. I mean, a couple of days underway, and they're still very, very close.
Well, there's Timo Hugut and his take on Team Brunel. But one thing that we're seeing here as all the footage comes into the Volvo Ocean Race headquarters, the conditions have changed. And with that, finally, some smiles and some enjoyment. We put together a little opportunity for you to have a look at some of the fun that's being had out in the water right now.
Good morning, Hong Kong, and all you people out there in internet land, and welcome to the Steve Hales Breakfast Show.
I'm going to go and have a celebratory dump because we've just had a great skate.
Celebrating's not even a word.
Eyeball, eyeball, Conrad, eyeball to eyeball. If we leave that there, I'll come back to something I prepared earlier.
3, 2, 1, big trim, guys. Trim. Nice.
Cracking the pepper. Oh yeah, cracking the pepper. Freeze-dried milk. Bon appetit from Humphrey B. Bath. We have the defining chin laws, Tom Cloud and Alex Goff here. We also have our raging psychopath safety officer, John Fisher. Hello, John. John Fisher. Come in, Dr. Clogs. Welcome to the show. Okay, Dr. Clogs. Dr. Clogs is a mute doctor who, when we come back after the break, more thrills and spills from the Stephen Hales Breakfast Show.
Well, you said you wanted the inside scoop on what's going on the boat, so that's what we brought you there. A little bit of a taste of what life is like on board. Now then, looking ahead, there is so much coming up. Of course, Turn the Tide on Plastic is going to be coming out of stealth mode. 1900 UTC, the race experts behind me, they're going to be pushing out that information to you as it happens. But also, further away, but just coming up on the horizon, is the doldrums. Well, who better to talk us through that than Conrad Coleman? He's not here today, but he's prepping the show for tomorrow. 1300 UTC, a slightly thicker than normal quick fix, and Conrad Coleman's going to be bringing us all the action and all the info, so join us then.